Mm. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Masterclass with the IAPC&M. I'm delighted to welcome today Cindy Schulson, who shows coaches how to communicate their unique value as they can rise above the noise and enroll more clients by marketing with heart versus hype. With more than 20 years of marketing experience, Cindy is passionate about creating a paradigm shift in how marketing can be done with integrity and heart. Today's topic is selling the invisible, the 3 steps to transform your coaching brand from intangible to irresistible. I'm your host, Elena Nedeva, based out of Bulgaria. Please note this session is recorded. So I would like to kindly ask you to keep yourselves on mute during the masterclass. We will leave the last 10 minutes of the session for Q&A. So please feel free to insert your questions in the chat box as they come. And without further ado, over to you, Cindy.
Thank you so much. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, you guys. So let me know if you can see this okay.
It is visible.
Okay, I'm going to do play slideshow. Can still see it okay? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I can't see the chat box, so I'm going to be relying on you, Elena, okay?
I'm
Okay,
here.
all right, thank you so much. All right, so yeah, I want to just start by inviting you to, and Elaine, I think there's some people in the waiting room, just FYI.
Letting them in.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to start by inviting you to imagine that somebody puts down this big purple box in front of you, and they tell you that if you give them $5,000, it's going to help you live the life of your dreams. Do you buy it? Anybody? Would you buy it? Yes, no, maybe? Nah. Okay, most people won't. And frankly, why would you? Because you don't know what's inside the box. You don't know if it really can help you achieve the life of your dreams. And what the heck does that mean anyway, the life of your dreams? It's so fuzzy and intangible. So that is kind of what it feels like when we try to sell coaching, right? We don't know exactly, it's so powerful, but until you experience it, you don't really understand the true value of it. So what we have to do is transform this intangible, invisible purple box of coaching into a brand that our ideal clients can actually feel, hear, see, and taste. And sorry, I went up one slide. So that's really what we're going to be talking about today. And I know it sounds weird, but stick with me and I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. I will be sharing a special invitation with you guys. It's nothing, no big pitch, don't worry, but it's really just an opportunity for you to get my eyes on your coaching brand. So I'll share more about that with you at the end. So really quick, I just want to make this real clear. This is for transformational coaches, which I know you all are. You wouldn't be in this community. And I just differentiate between a transactional coach and a transformational coach. And to me, a transformational coach is really committed to helping their clients achieve transformation, not just making a sale. You have a lot of expertise, but it can be tough to communicate the true value of your services. And let's face it, it's getting noisier and noisier. So it's harder to stand out and enroll clients. And marketing might feel complicated and overwhelming. So we're going to simplify all of this. And for some reason, my slides aren't advancing. Don't you love? There we go. Okay. So really quick introduction. I've been supporting coaches since 2010. I love what I do. It's been 15 years now. Prior to that, I worked in strategic communications for companies like Coca-Cola, Visa, and global consulting firms. So I have over 25 years of marketing expertise. But when I first started, many years ago, I, like so many coaches, spent so much time spinning my wheels because I didn't have clarity. I really didn't have clarity on my brand. And you know that feeling when you're pouring water into a bucket and it just keeps leaking out because you've got these holes, you've got these gaps. And that's what that lack of clarity brings. So why is it so tough to sell coaching? Well, like we said, it's intangible. So it's like trying to sell air. There are so many more coaches. In 15 years of working with coaches, it's really exponential, the increase. And I'm sure you've seen this, but in the past, I'd say about 2 years, there's been a growing trust deficit, meaning clients are more and more skeptical. And it's understandable. I won't get into all the details about it, but there's been a lot of hype and exaggerated claims, and clients are more skeptical. So it's up to us to build trust in our coaching services. So I really want you to know you can do this. You can make your value crystal clear. You can rise above the noise. You can build trust and enroll more clients when your brand is clear, memorable, and strategically aligned. And we'll talk about all of those things, right? And my whole approach is what I call marketing or branding with heart. It's about creating an emotional connection. Your brand has to connect with the hearts and the minds of your ideal clients. And ideally, you want to do it in a way that honors both you and the people that you're here to serve, because what we're here to do is not just attract clients, but attract clients who truly value what you do and who you are. That's what really makes it all worthwhile. So we're going to talk about the 4 brand pillars that you want to get in place for your coaching business. The first one is positioning. And by the way, guys, feel free to pop questions, comments in the chat. Elaine is going to help us. And at the end, we'll open up the lines for Q&A, okay? So what is your brand positioning? It's really all about what makes your brand relevant and memorable for your ideal client. And a lot of coaches have a really fuzzy focus, which makes it so much harder for them to be able to confidently sell their services. So there's 2 parts of brand positioning, your niche and your stand. We all have heard a million times about the importance of a crystal clear niche. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I want you to really remember there's 2 parts to your niche. There's who you help and what problem you help them solve. And Elena and I were actually just chatting about this at the beginning of the call. And my advice to you guys is that if you're thinking about your niche or refining your niche, don't just choose a target market and figure out what they want. Start by looking within yourself. You have unique value to share. And what I found is the key is figuring out what those strengths are, your unique gifts, and figuring out how to apply them in 2 ways. 1, in a way you're passionate about, and 2, in a way that's aligned with what your ideal client is really looking for. So I spent 2 years spinning my wheels without clarity. Not once did I think about the fact that I had 10 years of strategic communications experience. Once you figure out that gold, then you can align it with your passions and the right ideal client. And it's more important than ever to have a really clearly defined niche, like as specific as you can get. If you want to position yourself as an expert and raise your rates and stand out from the noise and focus your marketing and lead group coaching programs and scale your business. And I know it can feel scary. But I want you to remember something. Your niche isn't here to limit you. It's meant to focus you. And it's a gift. When I worked for those consulting firms in corporate, I didn't get to choose my clients. We as coaches have the freedom to choose who we want to call into your business. So just as an example, rather than say, that you're a relationship coach for families, what if you were to say that you help blended families manage their co-parenting problems? That is so much more tailored and specific. I could give you a gazillion examples, but we don't have time. But get as dialed in as possible to the who and the what. The second part of your positioning is your stand. You want to be able to take a stand for your unique perspective, your unique approach to helping your ideal clients solve their problem. And I'll share with you some questions you can start thinking about to help you develop your stand. But why is it important to take a stand? It creates that emotional connection. It sets yourself apart from the crowd and it positions you as a thought leader. And with this noisy, crowded coaching space, one of the best ways to differentiate yourself and cut through the noise is by taking a clear stand. So think about some of these questions as you think about your thought leadership stand. My favorite one is if you had a room full of your ideal clients and you just had 30 seconds to say something to them that would shift their perspective on how they can solve their problem, what do you want them to know? What's the typical approach in your niche to helping your client solve their problem? What do you disagree with? And what do your ideal clients think is the right solution? And where are they missing the boat? So here's just a quick example, and I'll give you some more examples in a minute. This is my stand that I have in my business. It's what I call my core message. You don't need to shout to get your message heard. The best way to stand out and attract your ideal clients is by marketing with heart versus hype. It's what I believe in passionately. It's what I teach. It's what I practice. So let me give you an example of how we can hone in. I gave you one example. Let me give you another example of how you can really hone in on your niche. Parenting coach, right? This is one of my clients, Mary. She came to me. She was just doing general parenting coaching. We honed in on a niche of parenting coach for families with teens or adult children with mental health challenges. How much clearer and more specific is that? And as a result of that, she got 5 new clients. Great, that's beautiful. But the best part is that she can now speak with confidence about who she helps and what their outcome will be. So we filled in the first part of the Branding with Heart puzzle, where people can feel who you are and what you stand for and what you do. The second part of the Branding with Heart puzzle is messaging. And this is a big one. Your message has to communicate who you help, what problem you help them solve, and what results you help them achieve. And I'm going to go through just a few of the mistakes that I see with messaging for coaches. Number one is too broad, and that is solved largely by honing in on your niche. Excuse me. But the second one is that so many times in our messaging, coaches speak to the wrong problem. So remember, there's a top of mind problem, meaning a problem your ideal client is aware that they have. And then there's an underlying problem, the root cause of that problem, that typically they're not even aware there is a problem for them. So if you speak to the underlying problem in your message, it's not going to resonate with your ideal client. They're not going to see themselves in your message. The other big problem, does anybody can relate to that? Does anybody think they might be making that mistake? Yeah, I'm seeing some heads nod. Yeah, I see that all the time. And it's because we're experts, right? So we look at it from the expert perspective, but we have to look at it from the ideal client perspective. The other big problem is fuzzy results. We can't just get away anymore with saying things like, live the life of your dreams or achieve the career you've always dreamed of. Like, it has to be more specific than that. Also, jargon, we can't use the jargon, way too long. But the other one is that it's too generic. You sound like every other coach who does what you do. So how do we solve that problem? We have to remember that people buy on emotion and they justify with logic. So that means that your message has to connect with the hearts and the minds of your ideal clients. And the way to do that is by putting your heart and your mind in your message. So the way I do this with my clients is we design a magnetic message that incorporates 2 parts. There's the typical marketing message, is what I call a niche statement. That's the head part. That's the part that explains, I'm so sorry, hang on, what's that? It's early in the morning here. That's the part that explains who you help, what problem you help them solve, and what results you help them achieve. And that's super important. But again, we also want to create a heart connection, and we want to position our thought leadership. So what we want to do is take the core message, that stand that we just talked about, and infuse it in your marketing message. So let me give you an example. This is one of my clients, Amy. When she first came to me, that broad niche, people who are stuck and want to achieve their dreams. Like, literally, that's what she wrote, right? And again, who are these people? What are they stuck with? And what does it mean to achieve their dreams? So we honed in, looking again at her expertise, her experience, her passions. And we focused on women leaders in technology who want to be seen and heard. And then we created her niche statement. I help women leaders in technology gain more confidence so they can be seen and heard. We created her core message. What is her unique approach to that? And her unique approach is that to grow as a leader, you need the courage to embrace who you truly are. So we infuse that into her message to create her magnetic message. I help women leaders in technology align with who they truly are so they can have the courage to be seen and heard. So now it has her thought leadership and it has an emotional connection as well as clarity about who she helps and what she helps them with. And as a result, I love what she said. Marketing is no longer a necessary evil, but a natural, authentic way to share your purpose. And she was able to attract the clients who are truly aligned with her. And that's one of the best parts about that thought leadership is when you share that thought leadership, your unique stand is part of your messaging and your brand, you will only attract the people who are aligned with your perspective. And those are the people we want to work with. We want to work with the clients who truly value us, right? And you have so much unique value. It's just about how you communicate it. All right, so we filled in the second part of the branding with heart puzzle. We've got the hear. They can now hear what you stand for, hear what you do. This is my favorite part of this branding with heart puzzle. So I want you to really pay attention to this because it's one where so many coaches are so close, but so far. And it's about your offers. Now, we know that, let's face it, a lot of coaches are uncomfortable selling. And I want you to know it's because they're selling the wrong thing. Most coaches sell their time or bundles of time, like 6 sessions or 3 months or whatever the case might be. How many of you, if you can go to the chat right now and let me know, how do you sell your coaching? Do you sell a coaching package like time, or how do you actually sell it? If you can just share in the chat real quick, that would be super helpful. And Elena, maybe you can help me see if anybody's typing in. I don't see any fingers typing. I want to see what you're currently selling. That would be super helpful. So most coaches, I'd say from what I have seen, it's about 70% of coaches sell their services like this. And what they tend to do is they focus on the time that people get or the benefits of coaching. But again, because think about that purple box, clients don't appreciate the value of coaching until they experience it. What they're investing in isn't the coaching, they're investing in the transformation that coaching brings. But you have to remember this, and especially important right now with that trust deficit. It's one thing to say you can help people get results, and another thing to be able to show that you have a system in place that consistently delivers those results. That system is what I call your client journey. This is your unique success path, your step-by-step system that helps your clients go from where they are to where they want to be. And I want you to know something. Your client journey, it's not a cookie cutter system, okay? Just because it's a step-by-step system doesn't mean that it's cookie cutter. It's a journey. There can be side trips. You might focus on one step more than another. And it's not always linear. And I'll show you some examples in just a few minutes. When you have this well-designed client journey, there's a few key things to keep in mind, okay? Number one, you have to be really clear about where your ideal client is when they first come to you. Because remember, your client journey is like a bridge that takes your clients from where they are to where they want to be. So you have to have clarity on that starting point, and you have to have clarity on the specific results. Remember, we talked about this with the niche, right, in your message. The specific results you help them achieve without the hype, without over-promising. Then we need a streamlined success path. And a lot of times when people design their client journey, there's like so many steps. And what happens when we do that? It feels overwhelming to your ideal client. So we need to have a streamlined success path that feels doable, that feels manageable to your ideal client. It also has to be aligned with your expertise. Please don't include things in your client journey that you don't have the expertise to help your clients achieve, right? So you will find as you design your client journey, as your expertise deepens and refines itself, your client journey will refine itself and expand itself as well. But start with the areas that you have true expertise in. And finally, messaging is important in everything. It has to be simple and memorable and really easy to communicate. So when you can go from selling that your time or bundles of time to selling your client journey, it takes your coaching from this big intangible thing to something truly clear. You're more confident, your clients are more confident, and there's that trust, right? So you earn the value of your services. I have to tell you a quick story. When I first went to do the client journey thing, I was terrified. I thought nobody's going to buy this. They're going to used to just buying like a session or a few sessions. And I'll never forget, this was many years ago, but I sold $17,000 of coaching in 1 week when I went from selling my time to selling my client journey. And my clients actually loved it because they could clearly see the path to transformation. And I was so much more confident sharing my offer. So here's one of my clients. I love this so much. She just emailed me out of the blue and she said, it really, really worked. I was amazed at how my confidence skyrocketed and blown away about how my prospects said yes to working with me. I gained 2 new clients in 1 day because of the client journey technique. So if you don't have a client journey yet, I urge you, this is a key part of your coaching business success and your brand. Now, once you have your client journey, the beautiful thing is that you can package that one client journey, and I'll show you some examples in just a minute, in all different ways. You can take a piece out and sell it as a VIP day. You can take a part out as a home study program. You could do private coaching, group coaching, hybrid coaching, paid workshop, but you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You take one client journey, package it in different ways or parts of it in different ways. And what you do is you actually will be able to earn multiple streams of income and help way more people without reinventing the wheel or diluting your brand. Because we want a core part of our brand is our offer. But if we have all these different disjointed offers, we create confusion for our ideal clients. So we actually dilute our brand versus strengthening our brand. One of my favorite ways to package the client journey is dividing it into a signature program and a next step program. So the signature program is the front end program you become known for that has a specific system to deliver a specific result. Then we take the next part of the client journey, the remaining pieces, and we package that into your next step program. So it's a seamless invitation. Once people get results from your signature program, they finish it, you can then seamlessly invite them to join you in your next step program. When I implemented this change in my business, no exaggeration, my sales grew by 70% in 1 year because I had a seamless way to continue working with people and I had a trust building front end offer. By the way, why is there a bowl of soup? I like to think of images, and I guess food comes to mind a lot. But imagine you go to a restaurant, you order a bowl of soup, and it's yummy and it fills you up, and the restaurant's earned your trust, right? You've had this great bowl of soup. Now the next part of the meal comes along, and you want that next part of the meal too. That's exactly what we want to do with the signature program and the next step program. So again, just to show you and inspire you about how simple this can be. And again, all the pieces have to build on each other, okay? So like this is one of my clients, Lynetta. She came to me, it was very broad. We really honed in on her niche and we ended up focusing on money mindset for spiritual people and just like really honed in on who she does, who she works with and how she does it. Designed her client journey, divided into signature program, next step program. Yes, she got 12 clients. One of her people who finished the signature program actually paid her $19,000 to work with her privately after the signature program, which is awesome. But the best part is she's not reinventing the wheel. She has one signature program that she can offer over and over and over again and build her brand and build her income. Now, one of my favorite things about the client journey is being able to present it in a visual way. So rather than just talk about your coaching on a consultation or a strategy session, you can actually show a visual representation of your client journey. So here's just a few examples from some of the clients that I've worked with. I've got hundreds of examples, but there you can see, imagine doing a strategy session. And when you get to the part where you share your offer, you're now able to just show them the exact steps. And this is really important. The steps you take and the mini results that people get at each step. And that mini result part is really important because we want to be able to clearly communicate why this journey makes sense, how it's going to help you go from where you are to where you want to be. Now, I had told you that a client journey isn't always step by step. It can be a pillar approach. So in the bottom middle, you'll see it says, get your dental house in order. That's one of my clients, Shelly, and that's exactly what she helps dental practice owners do, is get their dental house in order. And we came up with a pillar approach where she came up with these different pillars of the different things they need to do to get their house in order. It's not always linear because for this, in this case, it's really going to depend on that dental practice and what their priorities are. So just to show you, it's not, sometimes we take a more holistic approach, and most of the time it's a more step-by-step approach. This is my client journey. I've used the same one for many, many years. And as I mentioned earlier, as your expertise evolves, you deepen it, you refine it. And I have packaged this in so many different ways. And I've come up now with my favorite way of doing it that is, I won't get into now, but it's a hybrid approach that gives my clients really fast results. So again, no end to how you can package this, right? So my client journey is what I'm teaching you. A lot of what I'm teaching you here today is clarify your niche and create your magnetic message, convert, design and package your client journey, and then create the marketing that teaches your client journey. So this part is essential for your brand. And I love that we now have a visual so people can see exactly how you help your clients get results. I'm so sorry. Okay, we're going fast here because I promised I'd finish in like 45 minutes for you. So the last brand pillar is marketing. So again, everything has to build on each other, right? We got to have the niche in order to design the client journey. And I want to let you know something. You have to have the niche and the client journey before you design your marketing. Because most people make a big mistake with their marketing, that it's misaligned and it's overwhelming, frankly. And I can tell you that for me personally, I spent 2 years trying to market myself before I had that clarity. And that's why I was spinning my wheels so much. So if you take one thing away from this presentation, it's this: clarify before you create. Make sure you have you're crystal clear on your niche, your message, and your offer before you create your marketing, because your marketing has to speak to your ideal client and position your offer. So if you don't know who that ideal client is and how you help them and the results you help them achieve, and you don't know what that client journey is and exactly what your offer is, your marketing will not work. It's that simple. So what are some of the most important objectives with your marketing? We talked about trust. You want to build trust and connection. There's a lot of automation in the world today. We'll talk about that in a minute, but it's all about connection. You want to add real value. You want to shift perspectives and inspire action. So obviously we don't have time today to talk about how to do all of this, but I want to give you some guiding principles to keep in mind as you're creating your marketing. Number one is quality versus quantity. So when you think about putting out a piece of marketing, I see so many coaches pumping out content. It's not necessary. You focus on one quality piece of content, like a great masterclass or whatever the case might be, that you can then deliver over and over again and frankly repurpose in many different ways. Secondly, build connections. So I want you to imagine, for instance, there's like technology is great. I love automation. But what if you can build connection using automation? So I'll just give you one simple example of how you can do that. There's a free software. It's called Video Ask, and it lets people ask a question, and then you can provide a personalized reply using video or audio. So when I do a webinar, typically on the thank you page, I put a video ask and I say, what question do you have about your coaching brand? And they'll enter their question and I give them a personal reply. This builds that connection and trust even before the masterclass starts. And it also gives me valuable market research. So that's just one example. There are many, many examples of how to automate and build connections at the same time. Third, be generous. This whole teach them the what and the why, but not the how is garbage. Sorry, but that's just not cutting it anymore. I want you to understand the most important part of your marketing is teaching your client journey in your marketing. So whether you're doing a lead magnet, you're doing a podcast interview, you're doing a social media post, you're doing a masterclass, you always want to be teaching your client journey. This is how you add real value while creating desire for your services. It differentiates you because no one else is going to have the same client journey as you. But one of my favorite parts is that the clients who do end up working with you are going to be aligned with your approach. Because if you've taught your system for how you help your clients transparently in your marketing, the only people who are going to decide to work with you are the people who are really aligned with your approach. And when you do this and you do this well, you also will find that your marketing does the heavy lifting for you. When you're transparent and you add value and you teach in your marketing, then when it comes time to make the offer, it's an easy yes for the right person. Number 4, shift perspectives. So this is really important. Your ideal clients at this point have tried many different things to try to solve their problem. You want to make sure that in your marketing, you show your unique approach to solving their problem. Now, we talked about the stand, your core message. That's your overall unique approach for your whole brand. But you can also drill down and shift your unique approach on every part of your client journey. So just as an example, when I was talking to you about niche, I was saying rather than choose your target market and figure out what they want, my approach is to start with you to figure out the problem you're here to solve. When I talked to you about messaging, I talked about infusing your heart and mind in your message with your core message. So every step of your client journey, you want to show your unique approach to solving that specific problem. Okay? Because otherwise they're going to think that, well, tried that, it didn't work. But when you show you have a different approach, a different perspective, it gives people ideas, inspiration, and hopefully the desire to want to work with you. Number 5, grow your email list, right? I mean, I'm sorry, but social media is good. It's great, but we don't own it. It changes every 5 minutes. And God knows what's happening with it these days. So always be growing your email list. So everything that you do, always be sharing an invitation to get people to sign up for your email list. And again, the topic for your lead magnet will come from your client journey. You typically in a lead magnet, you're not going to teach the entire client journey. You're going to want to get more specific and take a specific part of your client journey. Okay, so one specific thing that you teach people. And number 6, be strategically aligned. This is so important. All of these pieces have to fit together, like we've talked about, right? You can see they're all building blocks. Niche leads to message, leads to client journey, leads to marketing. So they all have to work, but they also have to work together. And they also have to be aligned with you. So your marketing has to be aligned with you. You don't have to be everywhere doing all the things. I have built a multiple 6-figure business. I don't do a ton of marketing. I'm strategic. I'm aligned. I focus on quality versus quantity. I do all the things we're sharing here. You don't need to do it all to get great results. So just a couple of quick examples, and then we're going to wrap up and answer some questions. This is one of my clients, Pauline. Again, I want to share this because all these building blocks have to come together. So she's a doctor. She helps doctors create really successful careers and happy lives. And she's really passionate about what she does. So we created the message that speaks directly to her ideal client. We packaged what she does into a client journey. And based on that client journey, created simple marketing strategies. And when you put all those pieces together, that's when the magic happens. Speaking engagement, clients raised her prices. Here's another client, Michelle. She's also a doctor, and she does the opposite of what Pauline does. She actually helps doctors find non-clinical careers they love. And again, it all came down to getting really clear on the message, on the client journey, and then designing the marketing based on that client journey. And Michelle, she is busy. She does not have a lot of time because she now has a full client load and wait list of clients, just based on clarity on those pieces that we talked about. So I know this part's a stretch, forgive me, but you're now filled in the last part of the Branding with Heart puzzle. They can taste the value that you offer through your content. Think of the Baskin-Robbins pink spoon, okay? So what we've done now is we've transformed this purple box, this intangible thing called coaching, into a brand that your ideal clients can feel. They can feel it through the stand. They can hear it through your message. They can see it through your client journey, and they can taste it through your marketing content. And now your brand has come to life. Now you've differentiated yourself. You're clearly communicating your unique value through your message, through your client journey, through your marketing. And this is what allows you, when you can communicate your true value, that's what allows you to earn the true value of your services and those attract those clients who truly value you. So I want you, I've shared a lot of information, but now it's time for you to do some reflection and think about every part of your brand, the niche, the stand, the message, the offer, the marketing. I want you to think about and ask yourself this question: is every one of those pieces clear? So is it really clear to people? Is it memorable? Or does it sound like everybody else? And is it aligned? All the pieces, and I keep saying this, but they all need to work together. So I love swimming. And when you think about swimming, you got your head, you got your legs, you've got your arms. And when you can put all those parts working together, that's when you reach the end of the pool faster and easier. That's what you want with your brand, all the pieces working together. So I want you to really think about your coaching brand, and I want you to think about those holes in your coaching brand. What are the leaks? What are those gaps? Because if you're putting time and effort in and stuff's leaking out, it's time to stop that so that you can actually make sure that what you're putting out there is resonating, is working. And I understand this is hard to see for yourself. If you imagine looking at your nose, right? You can see a little part of it, but you can't see the whole thing. You need a mirror. And frankly, you might not have the expertise in branding. So I would love to ask you if I can have about 3 minutes to share my special invitation about how you can fully celebrate and monetize your unique value. So rather than have holes in your bucket, let's fill it up with some champagne and ice. Okay. Can I take 2 minutes and just do that for you? Is that okay, Elena? Yeah?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I'll be real quick. So this is what I call the Branding with Heart audit or review. And essentially what it is me going in and looking at every one of your brand pillars. Your brand positioning, so your niche and the stand you're here to take. Your messaging, your offers. And when I talk about your offers, it's what you're offering, how you're designing that, how you're packaging it, how you're pricing it, all those different things. And then the marketing, looking at all of your marketing. So this is a really 360 view of your entire brand. And what we do is it's so simple. I love this system because all the work's on me. You just fill out a Branding with Heart form so I can learn about your business. Okay? Then all the work's on me. I do a deep dive and I review everything you shared So I can come up with custom insights for your brand. I can help you find the gaps and opportunities that aren't visible to you. Then we meet for a 60-minute private coaching call where I share in-depth feedback and suggestions on how you can refine and elevate your brand. And you walk away. I don't just it's not just a skim. I go deep, okay? Because I want to really make sure that you can find those blind spots that you don't even realize are diluting your brand. And then I give you clear, actionable steps to help you fix your brand. So you'll walk away from the audit with insight about what's working and what's not, and clear steps on exactly how to refine what you have. I also would love to just gift you with a special bonus if you decide to sign up for this. And that's a program that I've created called Copy That Wows. It's a really comprehensive program on how to write copy that captivates the hearts and minds of your ideal clients. Okay, that sells for $4.97 on my website. The Branding with Heart audit also sells on my website, and it's available anytime for $500. But I wanted to do something special just for the, what is it, Elena? IAPC&M. Did I get that right?
Right.
So I made this available to you guys for just $2.97. You can get that anytime just for you guys at marketingfromwithin.com/review. And then if you're inspired to sign up today, I'd love to gift you with $100 savings. You just go to marketingfromwithin.com/review. And Elena, maybe you could put that link in the chat and use the coupon code BRAND. And you'll get everything for literally $197. I mean, 15 years experience working with coaches, and you're getting this for $197. I don't need to tell you what a great deal it is. But I do want to let you know who it's for. You have to have some clarity about your niche, message, and offer. Not everything dialed in and perfectly in place, or you wouldn't need me, right? You might just be beginning, like you're just happy to stand on your skis. You might be getting down the hill, but you're kind of a little wobbly. Or maybe you're pro and you're going down slalom. What's it called? Slalom? Whatever it's called. Anyway, so here's a few examples. So one of my clients, Christine, she's really new when she first did the audit. But because of the audit, we were able to hone in on her clear client focus and create the messaging. Here's another client, Nancy. She was the middle ground. She had a lot of pieces in place, but there were some crucial elements that were missing in how she packaged and presented her offer. So as a result of our work together, she sharpened her messaging, revamped her offers, etc. This is another one of my clients and friend, Milana, very experienced coach. She actually has, I think, 25 years experience as a coach. But again, sometimes we're just too close to it to see. So she did one of my audits, and now her offer is stronger, her conversion's higher. So just a quick reminder, you don't need to vacuum. You don't need to clean before the cleaning lady comes, okay? Let me do the hard work for you. You sit back, let me do the cleaning for you, okay? So final invitation, and then we'll go to questions. If you want to sign up while we're live on the call, go to marketingfromwithin.com/review and use the coupon code BRAND. All right, I'm going to stop sharing and come to you guys to answer any questions that you have, because I know I shared a ton of information in a short time.
Thank you, Cindy, for this insightful presentation. The biggest takeaway for me has been the fact that you encouraged us to clarify before plunging into marketing. So that really opened my eyes. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I want to point out, if some of you, because I'm seeing some notes in the chat that you're not selling yet and stuff like that, if you're not, if you're beginning and you don't have any of these pieces in place, so there's nothing for me to review, send me an email and I'll share some other ways that I can support you, okay? I want to make sure I don't leave out the people who are newer. Okay, any questions? I shared a ton with you. Any questions on anything I shared or on the Branding with Heart audit? I'm happy to answer for you. Any questions, you guys? Excuse me, you can unmute and speak or type in the chat, whatever works for you.
I have a question, actually, Cindy, if I may. Do you consider that a lot of research is needed before a coach decides which his niche is?
Okay, so I'm going to share this with you. There's research at a certain stage, right, that you can do. And I'm a huge fan of research. But before you can do the research, you've got to have some clarity to start with. You've got to really know what your potential solution is. Let me give you an example. I was working with a coach just this week. She has disability, and she wanted to help people with disability manage chronic pain. And I just said to her, you've got to do some research first to make sure that is a top of mind problem for your ideal client. So she already knew like the solution she's here to provide. She knew who she wanted to help. But before we went running with it, so first I helped her get clear on what she wanted to do. But then before we ran, I asked her to do some research and I showed her what to do to really validate that niche. So I would say start by getting clear on what you want to do and then validate through your research. Does that help?
Thank you very much. Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, Jenny.
Hi, I'm Lovna. Sorry, I can't put my video on because I'm actually driving.
No
Sorry.
worries.
And it was just a quick question. That was really you kind of nailed it. I am fuzzy, so you nailed on many things. I just wanted to know, so in terms of the messaging, do you help us to send the message across as well?
Can you clarify what you mean by send the message across?
So you said we need to clarify and know exactly what to put in the marketing slogan. So do you help us with the slogan as well?
Yeah, so I'm not sure what you mean by slogan. You're talking about the marketing message?
Yes, the marketing message.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Yes, I do. Yeah. Thank you for that. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
that's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sold, I can tell you that.
Wonderful. Well, I hope sign up during the call so you can save, but don't get, make sure you
Not now,
don't get in an
no, when I
accident.
stop driving.
Okay. Okay. I don't want you to hurt yourself. I look forward to working with you.
Same. So
Thank
I'm sorry, I am going to take your leave, and if Elena can maybe send your details, and I can maybe message you if that's okay.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Thank you
So
very
just
much. Thanks.
for
Sorry,
clarity,
bye-bye.
everybody will
Thank you.
receive a copy of the presentation within the next 2 business days. And Cindy's contact details are there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Any other questions, you guys? Anything else on your niche, your message, your offer, your marketing? Any questions I can answer for you? Okay, we have a quiet group today. All right, Elena, any last notes, or are we good to go?
Thank you so much for being here with us today. It has been insightful. It's been a pleasure to host you. And I hope you have a great rest of the day. I would like to take the opportunity to thank the audience for joining, and check out the remaining masterclasses that we are offering every week for the IAPC&M. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.